My darling, my child of golden starlight, my divine spark breathing in this human form, I am taking on this human form. I am present. Michael the archangel have arrived. In addition, I did not come to you by the wayside. It is possible that you are under the impression that this is only another moment or message. To tell you the truth, heaven itself is holding its breath as it waits to see what you will do. To put it another way, if you pay attention and remain, the miracle that you have been praying for will start to take shape in just 2 minutes. God says, this one I've chosen. This one has been through fire and still glows. And that one is you. Michael continues, they tried to break you but they failed. They tried to curse you, but grace covered you before their words even landed. God's words are translated as, this one has been through fire and still glows. Is it a coincidence that I am sending you this message right now? It is one of the divine laws of the universe. Yes, it is the law of attraction. Before moving on to the message, please like the video so that this message can reach other people as well, my dear. You must also receive and accept this message with love. If you write, I received and accepted it with love, in the comments and seal it with 524, you will maintain the balance of giving and receiving. Additionally, heaven is watching who responds. You will find a super thanks button below this video. When you donate $22 or more, you are not tipping a creator, you are planting a heavenly seed. And Archangel Michael promises, every divine seed bears divine fruit. Support the awakening. Heaven remembers those who do this. Don't forget to stay tuned and subscribe for our other messages, adds Archangel Michael. Now we can slowly move on to his message. You are not reading this because you are fortunate. Rather, you are here because a divine appointment has arrived. This message is sacred, and if you choose to ignore it or close your eyes, you may miss what God has been planning behind the scenes for years. Wait, do you feel that heartbeat? That is heaven knocking on the door of your soul. That is your future trembling in its skin, ready to bloom from the dirt that they buried you in. However, you must remain. Do not move. Do not scroll. The miracle requires your stillness. You are about to witness something that very few people ever get the opportunity to see. A secret heaven only reveals itself when your name echoes in the sky. And beloved, your name was just called. But before we go any further, I need you to take a moment to pause for a moment, because if you are experiencing something, if your heart is beating quickly, and if your soul feels as though it is remembering something that it has forgotten, then that is not a coincidence. That is confirmation. That is activation. That is alignment. And now, a quick whisper from the heavens. Subscribe to Heaven's Whispers. This channel was created specifically for you. Not for everyone, but for those who have ears that can hear beyond the noise. If your spirit feels this pull, subscribe right now. Do not skip this. It is your spiritual lifeline, because the messages that are going to come will only get more divine. Now breathe, because what is going to come next is not easy to say, but it is necessary. There is something that is trying to block your miracle right now. It knows your time has come. It sees the light forming around you. It hears the angels whispering, prepare the way. And this dark power is afraid, because when your miracle occurs, all it used to control will be shattered. My dear, there are angels with swords standing over your name. There are seals that are bursting open in the spirit, unleashing waves of restoration, but only for those who remain for a sufficient amount of time to receive them. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not average. God says, you are the reason I delayed other things. The reason that heaven changed the timelines is because of you. It was because of you that I decided to send Michael down tonight. That is not poetry at all. This may be a prophecy. That is the truth. I am aware that you have been waiting, praying, crying in private even though no one could see you, and laughing even though you were bleeding. But things will change tonight. Heaven is unfolding a scroll with your name shining on it, and it is being unrolled right now. Are you aware of what it says, by the way? Clearly the moment has come. The secret miracle is going to move you. The little-known favor is about to be made public. Just now, the blessings that bear your fingerprints on them have been sent out. This message, however, constitutes your consent to the terms. Your answer is yes. The shift is up to you, and I accept it. You are obligated to give a positive response right now, because within the next 2 minutes, there will be a movement, a phone call, a message, a glimpse, a revelation, and a confirmation. There will be others who do not believe what is coming for you, but heaven will attest that it was always intended for you, according to Archangel Michael. Despite the fact that they claimed it was impossible, They were unaware that your name was engraved on the palms of God's hands. However, they were unaware that the archangel had been circling your house since the previous night, even though they said that it was over. It was their assertion that it would not take place, but they were unaware that heaven had a countdown of 2 minutes. This message is a component of it as well. Do you intend to leave this and miss your hour of visitation, or do you intend to remain here and go through the gate that God has opened specifically for you? I ask you this question once again, simply because you will experience it if you do. Even at this moment, your entire body is experiencing tingling. The weight of your eyeballs is increasing. There is a tugging in your heart. Something very old is being reawakened, which is the reason for this. An extremely potent force is currently being activated. Also, I cannot stress this point enough. You must not tell anyone. This is specific to you only. This is a personal prophecy only for you. You are about to have a miraculous appointment. You have been waiting for this holy transaction, and it has finally arrived. Even if the heavens are teeming with sound tonight, they are only speaking to one person, and that is you. Therefore, do not skip. Try not to turn away. Continue reading, because by the time you reach the conclusion of this message, you will feel completely different. To my divine being, you were not expected to stumble upon this occurrence by chance. He lead you astray. It was the voices that kept you awake last night that led you to this conclusion. Driven by the pain that you were unable to articulate today, you are being guided by the stirring in your spirit that keeps telling you that something is going to happen. Indeed it is. But before heaven pulls back the curtain, I have something important to tell you that you absolutely must hear. It is only when you are prepared to receive miracles that they will reveal themselves to you. In addition, your spirit is more prepared than you are aware of at this very moment. The postponement was not a denial. There was no sign of desertion in the silence. It was the incubation of the divine. Your blessing was being concealed by God in a place where no one could curse it. Not even you. I have been circling your name in light for days, says Archangel Michael. Every time you were on the verge of giving up, I stood beside you. Every night, they whispered lies into your mind. This moment is different. Now the gate is open. Now the scroll has unrolled. Now the page has turned. And if you miss this moment, you will feel it not as a punishment, but as a silence that is too loud to ignore. A silence that says, you were right there, but you didn't say yes. I covered your pillow with heavenly hands. You have no idea what was being kept from you just to protect you. But now is different. My child, you have endured times that have caused others to break down. You have carried pain with dignity. You have held on to hope with bleeding hands. Heaven has witnessed all of this. Not a single tear has been shed. Not a single breath has been wasted. Not a single night in which you cried yourself to sleep has gone unnoticed. This is the reason why this moment is so significant. Because God is not sending comfort anymore. He's sending completion. The thing you prayed for isn't just being prepared. It's being dispatched. And when it arrives, it won't knock twice. You must answer now. You must respond in your spirit with fire. Even if no one understands, even if it scares you, even if you feel unworthy, God has already declared you are worthy because I chose you. There was a courtroom in heaven, and your name was on the table, says Archangel Michael. You were the defendant here. There were accusations made by the adversary. However, God took action and yelled out, "Silence, that one is mine." And at that very instant, the scenario was resolved, my dearly beloved. You have been awaiting confirmation the entire time. It has arrived. You have been looking forward to receiving clarification. It is over now. You have been inquiring and wondering when it will be my turn. This moment, not tomorrow. Not the following year. Right now. And I don't say that in a flippant manner. Inspiration for poetry does not exist here. It is a divine interruption that has occurred. The reason why your stomach turned upside down when you saw this is because of this. The reason why your heart was racing halfway through is because your spirit is recalling that this was already written. There is nothing new that you are about to encounter. As you take your first breath, you are entering a time and space that is centuries old, a destiny that has been etched into the walls of eternity. The thing that I have to tell you right now is this. There will be a test given before the blessing is bestowed. There will be a test of stillness and a test of trust before the miracle manifests itself physically, and God wants to experience both of these things. Are you going to continue to believe even when nothing seems to change? When the agony has not yet subsided, are you going to continue to praise? When everything around you urges you to close your heart, are you going to continue to open it? If you are able to go past that, then the floodgates will open. And not only with a single stroke of luck. On the other hand, wave after wave of what was resisted, delayed, battled against, and concealed will all stream into your life like a dam cracking. However, first and foremost, trust. You have to put more faith in the things that cannot be seen. It is imperative that you put more faith in what God whispered than in what life roared. Mainly due to the fact that the angels are getting ready to reveal something that will not only bless you. Everyone who has ever had doubts about you will be embarrassed by it. Let me speak to you, my child. They made an attempt to imprison you in dread. They manipulated you through the use of love. They used quiet as a weapon to exert control over you. And they smiled even as you strained to get by. Nevertheless, heaven did not forget. Moreover, paradise is unbeatable. As a result, the vengeance of God is now favor. Miracles are God's way of exacting his vengeance. Promoting something without providing an explanation is God's vengeance. People are not going to understand what you are saying. The people who did not believe in you will be offended by it. The people who made fun of you will be silenced as a result of this because no one can halt a move of God wrapped in a kid whom he loves. You are the youngster in question. Michael, the archangel, is still standing in this location. As he repeats your name over and over again, he is observing your reaction to determine whether you will take advantage of this opportunity or retreat, thinking that it is too good to be true. However, what if all of a sudden it turns out to be that good? What if the miracle is actually waiting to happen? What if this message is the door that you have been pleading with for years to get through? Could it be that God is not only capable but also willing? What happens if he already has his sights set on your home, your bank account, your body, and any members of your family? In the event that this is the change that you have been requesting, all that is required of you is to affirm, "Yes, I believe. I will not skip work." You were chosen to carry light. Now sow into what lit you up. Tap, super thanks, and give $44 or more. Heaven sees those who move when they're called. For the reason that God is no longer inquiring, I will not conceal myself and I will open the door. He has a warm smile. He's saying, I dare you to believe in something this beautiful again. I dare you to think miracles still exist. I dare you to remember who you are before the world told you to shrink. And child, if you step into this moment with trembling but with faith, the world will watch your life become what they once thought was only a dream. After that, take a deep breath, my dearly beloved, for this next phase, this next sacred section, is where everything in the spirit realm starts to be transformed. While you are reading these words, angels are literally moving through your chronology, through your bloodline, through every closed door and every broken window of your life. They are clearing away the dust, the delay, the falsehoods, the curses, and the dread, and they are creating room for what is about to come at you. It is not a minor adjustment at all. Changes like this are not subtle at all. Heaven refers to this as a divine interruption, also known as a holy disturbance, because God is sick of seeing you shrink in order to live, despite the fact that you were meant to rise and dominate. You, child of God, have no idea how many adversaries have surrendered their control over your life as a direct result of your decision to open this message and remain. Indeed, you have opened a doorway simply by remaining, simply by reading, and simply by expressing in your heart that you believe this is meant for you. Your actions started the countdown to heaven. The sacred flame that lay dormant beneath each and every promise was stoked by your actions. And at this very moment, those promises are rousing themselves, raging with light, shaking with grandeur, and rushing toward you like a raging storm of benefits that can no longer be postponed. Am I able to sense it? This shaking, this unraveling of things. What you are hearing is the sound of chains that you were completely unaware were still present slipping off. This is the sound of prayers that have been recited in the past but have been forgotten coming back into God's hands and being kissed with fire. That is the sound of you, the most authentic version of yourself, emerging from hiding, emerging from hurt, emerging from hesitation, and emerging into the brilliant strength of who you were always meant to be. Before you take another breath, I feel it is imperative that I make this point crystal plain to you. This moment should not be shared with anyone else. Do not attempt to explain it. Do not discuss it with those who have doubts about anything that is holy. Not everyone is privy to this message. The crowd is not likely to witness this miracle. You and God are the only ones who know this. According to the words of Archangel Michael, if you speak too soon, the wrong ears will try to confuse what God just confirmed in your spirit. Therefore, you should secure this time as if it were a treasure. Because heaven did not open this door for anybody else, You should guard it as if it were the most costly gem you will ever hold in your life. Your door was opened for you. You will be able to step through with faith because it will be open for a short enough period of time. There is just enough time for you to mutter, "I am willing to accept this breakthrough." For the appropriate door to unlock, it took just the perfect amount of time. In the hope that the appropriate heart will call your name. In the hope that the perfect financial miracle will come like a flood. For the appropriate healing to make its way into your body. So that you can apply the appropriate oil on your head. This is the type of oil that identifies you as untouchable, unstoppable, and undeniably chosen. At this point, I want you to lean in closer because what I am about to say is more substantial than gold. Someone is currently inquiring about you at this very moment. An individual who ought not to be aware of your name. Who should not even be thinking about you in the first place. You, however, were placed in their spirit by God. The answer to a prayer that you forget you even prayed is being carried by this individual, who is being used by heaven to carry information. A disturbance is being made among them. This is a blessing for you and they are being haunted in their sleep. In order for them to appear in your life with something that is in their possession and belongs to your destiny, they are being coerced into a position to do so. Therefore, pay special attention to this. At this moment, they are awaiting a signal. And this very instant, this very communication, is the catalyst. The moment that you totally accept this, the moment that your spirit says yes in its entirety, something flows down from the sky into their consciousness. Regardless of the distance, the skepticism, or the diabolical delay, there is something that opens, something that moves, and something that cannot be stopped. It is clear that everything is interconnected. There is no separation between you and the miracle. To find you, it is searching. There is no floating of the favor. Keeping track of your energy, your words, and your faith is what it is. Because of this, Archangel Michael pleaded with God to grant him permission to communicate with you in this manner. This message had to be able to find its way to you despite the fact that there were many distractions. There is a conflict going on in the spirit realm around this moment, specifically on whether you will accept this and proceed to walk through it or whether you will shrink back and miss it. That is the reason why you have been feeling so exhausted. Your anxiety can be attributed to this reason. Because of this, odd occurrences have been taking place in your vicinity. Because the curtain is thin and your miracle is getting closer, there are problems with phones, people behaving in weird ways, and dreams becoming more intense. On the other hand, child of light, allow me to speak this with fire. No weapon that is fashioned against you will be successful. There is not a single devil in hell that can halt what God has already started. As you continue to read, as long as you maintain an open attitude, as long as you remain submissive and waiting, the miracle will not merely appear. Rather, it will multiply many times over. What was once a single door that was open will eventually become a corridor in heaven. A legacy will be created out of something that was once a single blessing. You are not being impressed by God in any way. He is attempting to make a mark on you. It is not merely that he is attempting to console you. In your narrative, he is constructing a throne for himself. You will not merely receive assistance. You will be given the crown. You are not going to merely survive. You are going to testify. Moreover, your narrative will cause nations to be disturbed. I am aware that you have been silent for an excessively long time. I see that you have hid your tears. Despite the fact that your heart was breaking, you have learned to smile. You have been interested in hearing other people talk about their blessings, but you have been wondering when it will be your turn. And heaven witnessed everything that took place. God remembers everything. Your name was written on the scroll that was handed over to God this morning by the Archangel Michael. Then God spoke out and said, I want this one to be blessed with a miracle that will bring glory to me. One that will silence every accuser. It is because of this that the battle has been so difficult this week. It is because of this that the confusion has attempted to blind you. However, now it is breaking. Now it is ending. Now the floodgates are opening and everything that has been hidden will come into the light. Your name will be honored and your heart will be healed. Your future will be restored. And your enemies they'll watch. God will arrange a table, not in secret, not in silence, but in front of the exact ones who scoffed at your delay. And he will serve justice through blessing. He will serve power through peace. He will serve vindication through favor. However, before you do anything else, you must first receive this with your whole heart. You must have faith that this is not a fantasy. It is a forecast, a glimpse of what has already been set in motion. And if you try to rationalize your way out of it, you will miss it. If you try to figure it out, you will overthink the miracle. Just receive it. Just rest. Just say yes. Because something is happening right now, right this very minute. The reason that this is happening is because you dared to stay. You dared to read. You dared to believe. Heaven never ignores that kind of courage. Therefore, rest in this fire. Allow it to warm your bones. Allow it to awaken your joy. Someone's heart is softening. A divine phone call is being scheduled. A door that was locked is suddenly opening. Please allow this to be the reason that you stop worrying, stop wondering, and begin walking like the chosen soul that you have always been. Then, my beloved, come closer. Come even closer, because what I am about to reveal cannot be heard with the ears alone. It must be absorbed by the soul. There is something shifting beneath your feet right now, something that not even the earth can explain. When you sense that your body is different, that your heartbeat is louder, and that time seems to be suspended, it is not a coincidence. It is because your name is being sung in places that your feet have not yet touched. It is because your spirit is standing in two realms at the same time, where you are and where you are going. And heaven is inviting you to step fully into the second one without fear, without resistance, without delay. Do you feel that? That sense that something unseen is staring straight at you with holy eyes? That's not imagination. That's divine presence. That's glory pressing itself against your atmosphere because it refuses to wait any longer. The miracle is restless. It wants to move. It's begging God for permission to land. But it won't touch down until you completely say yes. Yes with your heart. Yes with your faith. Yes with your silence. Yes with your readiness to be seen, chosen, used, and lifted in front of those who said you never would be. Archangel Michael says, you were born for this moment. The shift you felt is real. Don't just sit with it, activate it. Click, super thanks, and give what your spirit leads. Heaven multiplies movement. Even your delays were already accounted for in the strategy. All of the betrayals were incorporated into the crowning of your life. At 2 o'clock in the morning, he sees you at your lowest point. As you stare at the ceiling, you may find yourself questioning whether or not your prayers have been heard by God despite the chaos that has surrounded you. And at this very moment, Michael is observing your ascent without even being aware of it. Right this moment, you are rising. In spite of the fact that your hands are shaking, your soul is coming to terms with its mission. It is a beautiful time that your breath is beginning to plummet. It is not because you are stronger now that the old weight is lifting. Rather, it is lifting because it was never yours to carry for such a long time. The only reason God allowed it to remain was so that it might teach you how to deal with the miracle that is on its way. Your memory will live on forever. On no occasion were you left behind. Heaven has been working behind the curtain, arranging heavenly appointments, preventing storms from raging, and speaking into the ears of people you haven't even met yet. These are the people who will open doors for you, make your dreams come true, love you in ways you've never experienced, and protect you without any strings attached. However, here is something that you must comprehend with every fiber of your being. If you choose to forego this, if you choose to disregard this stirring, if you scroll past this as if it were just another set of words, it will bring you pain in the future in ways that silence cannot describe, since this is not a message that can be repeated several times. This is not a delivery at a mass scale. This is an interruption from the divine, specifically constructed by the Spirit of the God who is still alive. Carved with your name, steeped in angelic haste, and sent through time specifically to reach you at this very moment. There was no yesterday and there will be no tomorrow. My dear child, now. In the near future, the individuals who attempted to break you will be able to witness a version of you that was concealed for a sacred purpose. They are going to look at you and be perplexed as to how you are radiating such a radiant glow. They are going to be perplexed as to how your name is being spoken in rooms that you have completely avoided entering. The question that people will ask is, how did they rise so quickly? And the answer will be straightforward. God intervened because he finally received a yes from you, and it came without any conditions, fear, or humiliation. He also did not attempt to be little in order to make other people feel like they were big. No longer will you minimize your calls in order to maintain your comfort. Now is the time when God shows his respect for the suffering by substituting power for it. The moment that God rewrites the story and makes you the evidence that he continues to bring the forgotten back to life is when this happens. Even though I love you, I feel obligated to warn you that once this transition occurs, everything will change. After what God reveals to you, you won't be able to turn back the clock. The version of yourself that was silent, exhausted, neglected, and over-explaining will be lost to you as a result of the reality that you uncover. However, it will ultimately result in the birth of a person who walks with the wind of heaven at your back. The version of you that garners favor not as a result of your efforts but rather as a result of who you are. A version that comprehends the reason why the delay was essential, which is that God was growing the miracle in order to prevent it from collapsing under the weight of your destiny. The following line, on the other hand, is not from me. This is a message from God. Please convey this to my youngster. It is going to happen that I will surprise them in such a profound and intimate way that their faith will have no choice but to yell forth once more. Those who oppose them will have no other option but to disperse. They will have no choice but to submit to the blueprint that I drafted before they were even conceived. Their future will be their only option. Allow the information to sink into your bones. Therefore, let that to serve as a source of solace for you, because heaven is currently observing how you react. This is a magnificent fork in the path for you. In order to find the gold, you have two options. Either you can return to the numbness or you can walk through this fire. It is possible for you to consider this to be yet another lovely message. On the other hand, you may seize it and allow it to rewrite the entirety of your existence. There are two ways to deal with the pull that is within you. Either you can ignore it or you may allow it to lead you directly into the core of God's will, where everything is in harmony and nothing is wasted. Now is the time to make a decision. Heaven is paying attention. The passage of time is not slowing down for Michael, who is waiting. Consequently, my dear, do not blink. Don't even come close to breathing without a purpose. Because the events that are about to take place are not for those who are easily frightened. It is for the warrior who lies dormant within you, the one that has been sleeping under the burden of stress. The reason for this is for the version of you that heaven still remembers. It was the version that danced in the spirit before this planet that attempted to make you forget your brightness. The part of you that was able to hear God before you ever had any doubts about Him. And at this very now, with each and every divine sentence that you allow to enter your spirit, that self is rising once more. Slowly yet ferociously, quietly but silently, with power that cannot be denied. There has been a signal sent out by the sky. There has been a heavenly warning issued. In addition, it states, this one is rising to its feet. This one is prepared. This individual has experienced sufficient darkness to be aware of the change that occurs when the light appears. And child, the light just arrived. Angels are eliminating impediments from your name right now, and they are doing so in a location that you cannot see. You are experiencing the breaking of chains that have been handed down to you through generations, through lies, and through agreements that you were actually unaware you had signed. It is not only that you are reading this. I am releasing you from contracts that your spirit never agreed to, but your pain tolerated. You are being freed, unhooked from timelines that were draining you, and released from chains that have been holding you back. The reason for this is that God is finished observing His child being controlled by fear. He is finished watching you construct dreams out of being able to survive. Now, He desires to construct through you according to revelation, according to abundance, and according to royal power. Let there be no doubt about it. The things that He is gaining access to through this communication cannot be undone. In the aftermath of this, you won't have to begin the process all over again. This does not constitute a new cycle. This marks the conclusion of each and every cycle that attempted to persuade you that your story turned out to be a disappointment. It is God who is telling you, you are not too late. I have protected you. I have concealed the blessing so effectively that even the adversary was unable to find it. I have not allowed it to be given to another person. I have kept it in divine storage until you were ready to receive it without fear and walk without apology. This is the moment that you are ready to receive it, and I know that you are feeling it. You are making an effort to reason it, but your soul already believes it. There is a vibration in your chest that is not coming from the room you are in. It is coming from the voice of heaven resonating through your cells, your bones, and your blood, saying, remember, wake up. It is time. There is a reality that the majority of people will not tell you, and that is that you do not require the belief of everyone. You don't need everyone to agree with your breakthrough. You just need one yes from God. And the door that was bolted shut for decades will fall open like paper in the wind. You just need one whisper from the angel standing beside you right now. And your whole timeline will shift so fast. Even your past will begin to make sense because this message didn't come to comfort you. It came to launch you, to deliver you, to mark you, and to crown you in front of the very shadows who believed you wouldn't make it out alive. And darling, I see you. I know how long you've carried that quiet pain. I see how often you tried to make peace with the fact that maybe this just isn't for me. I see the way you've smiled while questioning if you were still remembered. But heaven hasn't stopped watching. God hasn't stopped planning. Archangel Michael hasn't stopped protecting. You were born for an impossible story. The kind people whisper about when they try to explain what favor looks like. The kind that defies logic, timing, and generational patterns. And this message, this is your spiritual receipt. This is the stamp that says authorized by God, stamped by fire, released by heaven. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to be flawless. You don't have to explain why you're finally ready. You just have to say, I'm not going back. This will not be skipped by me. Everything comes to me. For the reason that what is going to happen next is between you and the wind of God, and let me tell you, it is already blowing through the hallways of your finances, through the rooms where your name is being uttered, through the body that you believed was failing you, and through the relationships that you were about to give up on. Through the opportunities that were denied before but now must return with double honor. This isn't hope anymore. This is prophecy unfolding. This is your Lazarus moment. This is the part where everything dead starts to rise because heaven has commanded it to do so. And yes, you are the reason the command was issued. So what will you do now? Will you let fear win again? Will you let doubt steal what's rightfully yours? Or will you right now, even trembling, say out loud, God, I hear you? In my opinion, I say yes. Because if you do, something will break. Something will open. And someone will call you, message you, reach out to you, and not even understand why they were compelled to. But you'll know. You'll know. It started the moment you said yes to this message. The moment you opened what others skipped. The moment you received what heaven had to hide from the proud to give to the hungry. And child, you are hungry. You are ready and you are next. Then stay with me, beloved. Stay rooted in this holy presence a little longer because what I am about to pour into your spirit cannot be touched with hands, only caught with the heart. Right now as you read, heaven is stretching the fabric of time around your name, slowing everything else down so that this moment is sealed in eternity. You are not just reading words. That feeling wasn't emotion, it was divine contact. Honor it. Hit super thanks and plant $33 or more. You're not giving to a person, you're giving into purpose. You are walking through a portal. A spiritual corridor is opening beneath your very breath. And the air around you is shifting because your yes has been heard louder than thunder in the throne room of God. And when a child of light says yes like that, with trembling, with tears, with holy fear and stubborn faith, heaven responds immediately. Not with delay, not with maybe, but with motion. You have started a chain reaction in the unseen that cannot be reversed, cannot be undone, cannot be interrupted by any demon, delay, or doubt. You didn't miss it. You're not late. You're not disqualified. You're not too broken, too slow, too complicated, too forgotten. When God wrote this precise second into existence, He knew exactly where you would be. And all that He intended for you is still on its way, still intact, still dripping with oil, still drenched in light, and still shaking with purpose that has your name embroidered into every thread. You are exactly where God knew you would be. Archangel Michael is standing right next to your spirit right now, with his sword drawn, his wings spread wide, and his eyes blazing. He is not here for decoration. He is here because the war for your destiny has already been declared. And the moment you said yes, he stepped into position. The darkness that attempted to strangle you a year ago is now trembling. The voice that whispered to you that it was too late is now trembling. It has been silenced now. The curses that followed your bloodline have been broken now because someone in your family had to be the one. Someone had to say yes. Someone had to break the chain. Heaven waited patiently, waiting for generations for you. This is the reason why this miracle is so much bigger than you. You believe that it is about money. This is about eternity. This is about the fact that something divine is trying to be born through your life, and it will not be aborted. Not by fear, not by trauma, not by unworthiness, not by lies. And now that you have said yes, heaven is speeding up everything. You believe that it is about love. You believe that it is about recognition. However, this is about destiny. This is about eternity. You are opening the gate. You are becoming available. You are saying, "Here I am, God." Delays are being reversed. Time is being redeemed. People who have forgotten about you are suddenly being reminded of you. Resources are waking up and running into your name. This is not because you chased them. Rather, it is because you aligned. Even if I am exhausted, even if I am terrified, and even if I do not comprehend what is happening, I am still here. That, my dearly darling, is all that God required. Because He didn't require you to be flawless. It was not necessary for you to face your fears. As a result, He required your presence. Moreover, you are now. And this is where it all starts. On the other hand, I have to tell you this with absolute precision. As soon as the blessing arrives, the distraction will follow suit. Uncertainty will accompany the opening of the doors. In the same way as the phone rings, the old worries will attempt to make their way back in. However, you must not allow them to in. There is no way you can forget this moment. Don't forget about this presence. Always keep this fire that is currently raging in your chest in mind. Due to the fact that the adversary does not fear your cry. He is alarmed by your alignment. He is afraid of your composure, which he trusts. There is no need for a sign since he is afraid of your yes. Now watch over your vitality. Watch out for your circle. Be careful with your remarks. This is not the time to explain what God is doing to individuals who were not present when you were on the verge of passing away. When it comes to individuals who were not present during the conflict, this is not the time to justify the miracle. An explanation for your glow, your joy, your peace, your success, and your blessings is not anything that you owe to anyone to explain. Let them be perplexed. Allow them to engage in gossip. Take a look at them. Proceed with your stroll. Maintain your ascent. Continue to obey. Simply because you are now carrying something. It is now time to mark you. The very air that surrounds you will start to alter at this very moment. Due to your presence, objects that you have not even spoken to will be disrupted. You will mend wounds that you have not yet touched with your speech. When you remain silent, the spirits that used to torture you will become perplexed. The reason for this is that you now hold the remnants of a heavenly yes. Despite the fact that your hands are shaking, you are now the proof that what happens when someone believes manifests itself. At this point, you are the realization of the prophecy, and you won't have to pursue anything else. It has already begun its journey. As of right now, the miracle is no longer behind you. You are in front of it, and it is waiting for you to go into it completely. And as you do so, keep an eye on what transpires. Keep an eye out for the person who returns to apologize. Observe who makes an attempt to reattach themselves. Keep an eye out for people who admit that they didn't believe in you before but now they do. Be sure to observe how the heavens will reward you for every time you chose to remain silent in order to maintain peace. Observe how God fills your cup to the point where it overflows in front of others. Mainly due to the fact that when God praises a heart that has been faithful in the hidden area, He does so in a loud voice. It is done quickly by Him. Without a doubt He will do it. Moreover, He is doing it right now, cherished. Inhale this deeply, my sweetheart, and then let it sink in. Since what is currently flowing into your spirit cannot be taught, cannot be imitated, and cannot be created, it cannot be manufactured. Rather, it is only obtained. And your spirit, even if it has been worn down, even if it has been scarred by years of waiting and wandering, your soul is aware that this is a fact. This frequency is familiar to it. This fire is familiar to it. Heaven's voice is gently wrapping itself around your name, and it understands the sound of that conversation. Indeed, this is the reason why you have not turned away. Despite the fact that your head attempted to interrupt you, your heart has remained in this location. Due to the fact that you, the one who has been chosen, are at long last entering the frequency of your very own divine assignment. For a lifetime you have been circling around this moment. You've been following this calling in your dreams and seeing glimpses of it, but now it's coming to you in person. Now there is no denying it. The moment has come. And don't even for a moment pretend that this message is nothing more than words. It is a breathing organism. Essentially, it is a spiritual scroll that is delivered to your soul. In no way is it passive. This is not a decorative item. It is packed with instructions, discoveries, and vibrations that are removing curses from your life with each and every breath that you take. At this very moment, yes, right this very moment, something ancient that was wrapped around your finances, your health, your confidence, your voice, and your future is already beginning to unravel. A significant knot in the spirit is beginning to loosen. It is becoming easier to bear. As the veil begins to lift, you didn't even have to do anything other than answer yes to the question. God is so powerful that He can do that. This is the extent of your favoritism. This is the amount of time that heaven has been waiting for you to allow yourself to be completely surrendered. In spite of this, Archangel Michael continues to watch over you. As a witness, in addition to serving as a protector at this time. The reason for this is that the activation of what you are saying yes to will have repercussions in areas that you have not even conceived about yet. Your life is about to be filled to the brim with blessings, and those blessings will have a profound impact on people you have not experienced before. The territories that you have been given are ones that you have not even asked for. For the simple reason that you mustered the guts to believe once more, doors that were before closed for your parents and grandparents will suddenly swing open. And the following section is challenging for the mind, but your spirit is already aware of this fact. It is not necessary for you to apologize to anyone for what God is going to do through you. It is true that there are individuals who have underrated you. Individuals that have made fun of you behind your back. Those individuals who were only able to feel at ease with you if you remained subdued, silent, and obedient to their interpretation of your tale. However, the narrative that God penned was never intended to be a simple one. Never in a million years was the promise supposed to be ordinary. In no way were you intended to be able to blend in. You were destined to be unique, to deviate from established norms, and to shake up established comfort zones with holy upheaval. If you attempted to play it safe in life, you would never understand why it was so confusing. When you tried to lessen the intensity of your light, relationships broke down because of this. This is the reason why the world will never be able to hold you in the way that your spirit requires, since your soul was designed for something extra. And at long last, that additional thing is here. Also, dearly beloved, what is on the horizon will not merely replace what you have lost. Rather, it will multiply it. This is not the time of year for laborious recuperation. It is the time of year when unexpected rewards come. Now is the period when your obedience will bring about marvels, because it will act as a magnet. Each and every yes that you murmured in the shadows is currently being yelled as loudly as possible in paradise. Every seed that you sowed in privacy. There are spots where it is growing that will soon be bursting with fruit, and people who are wonderful will stare in astonishment at it. This is the kind of harvest that causes people to wonder what they did to deserve to be punished in such a manner. When it was the most difficult to believe, they responded yes, and that is the only answer that will be given. Now, I want you to keep this in your possession, because what I am about to reveal is holy. Within the next 3 days, heaven will officially begin a countdown that will involve angels. Absolutely, precisely 3 days on earth. A sign, a message, a call, and a shift are all going to be present. It won't be very noisy. Even if it might just happen for a split second, your spirit will be able to sense the breeze. You will be aware of it. There is a supernatural breath on it, and you will recognize it. Additionally, you are required to react, not with dread, not with second-guessing, but with faith, with joy, and with the same type of courageous surrender that you demonstrated when you opened this message and remained. It should not be questioned. You shouldn't ask other people for their viewpoint. Real transformation begins with a response. If your heart was touched, show heaven you're ready. Click Super Thanks and give $55 or more. Your seed is your yes. The crowd was never intended to see this miracle. Because you are the one who has been selected, it was always intended for you. For it is not simply via words. It is also through bloodline, accord, fire, and love. You are the one who broke the lineage, the one who carried the miracle, and the one that the darkness worked the hardest to destroy, because it knew that if you lived long enough to believe that you would become unstoppable, then you would be unstoppable. And even now, with knees that are shaking and a voice that is soft, you are becoming a living prophecy, a walking tabernacle, and a vessel that is so holy that heaven is unable to ignore your presence anymore. Get ready, and be expecting, for the environment around you is about to obey the anointing that you have given it. You will now be blessed by something that earlier fought you. Something that used to ignore you will now come after you. You will now be elevated by something that used to drain you. It is also not necessary for you to pursue anything. Because God has decreed it, everything will come to you in its entirety. There is no motivation in this. This teaching comes from the divine. This is not a very pleasant message. It has been decreed by the King. And the fire that is in heaven is what seals it.